Hello, friends. Welcome to my channel, uh, Learn with Roshan. Today we are going to discuss another important and exciting topic known as using media queries with Bootstrap. Okay, so let's get started. So, first of all, we'll check uh, the topics that we are going to discuss, right? So, we'll take an introduction. We'll get to know what is viewport and what is device with concept. Then what are media queries in Bootstrap, and finally we'll get into a demo as to see how media queries can be used in Bootstrap practically. Okay, now as you all know, Bootstrap is a very popular HTML, CSS, and JavaScript framework that can be used for creating responsive web applications. It is very much popular among the web designers as well as full stack developers, that it is a very flexible framework for rapidly developing responsive web application using the provided HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. Now, actually, this framework or this UI framework provides different features, right? First and the most important feature is that the grid layout or Bootstrap grid layout, which allows designers to basically organize website content to be adjusted according to the device that the website or the web page is displayed on. Okay, so we can easily use Bootstrap's grid layout to organize and adjust our website content and display it based on the device that the web page is displayed on. Okay, it has its own grid layout classes, right? Then Bootstrap has a set of or a series of CSS classes predefined for us to be used. I mean, if we are developing or rather designing a website from the scratch without using the Bootstrap framework, you know that we have to come up with our own CSS styles or CSS style classes. But when you use Bootstrap framework, right, it provides most of the common classes for us to be used. So there are inbuilt Bootstrap classes which we can quickly apply rather than creating our own classes from the scratch. Okay, right. Then the third important thing is the JavaScript components, right? So Bootstrap provides really nice inbuilt components which we can quickly apply to a particular website. It is actually I have mentioned as JavaScript, but it is actually using jQuery, which is a wrapper of JavaScript or a wrapper library of JavaScript. Okay, so let us go to the Bootstrap site first and see and explore all these features, right? So the site of Bootstrap is getbootstrap.com. Okay, so this is the site. Okay, now there are various versions of Bootstrap. Okay, uh, the latest one is version 5.2, but for this demo I'll be using Bootstrap 4. Okay, Bootstrap 4.6, right? Now, if we take this documentation, Bootstrap provides a very comprehensive documentation, and it has all the features that I have explained. That is the grid layout, its own classes, and the components. So let's see some of the items. Now, when it comes to components, now you can see different components of Bootstrap. There are really nice components like carousel. Okay, see, I think you are very much familiar with this kind of components. Then we have its own form, right? Form component, model pop-up component, right? Which we can use different uh, purposes like providing a message to the user, or loading a form in a pop-up, right? Or loading a data set as a pop-up. That kind of really cool features are provided by Bootstrap. Then the pagination component, so that you can uh, provide a paginated data set. Okay, likewise there are so much of nice, elegant component that have been provided by Bootstrap. Okay, then also navigation bars are provided, right? Likewise, then when it comes to content, okay, so as I have mentioned, right, there he Bootstrap itself, right, has provided many of its classes. Okay, so for displaying text, it has its own classes, like for example display 1, display 2, right? So that you can display a particular text with varied sizes. Okay, right? Likewise, it has provided its own classes for us, so that we don't have to come up with, or we don't have to create our classes from the scratch, right? So those are the inbuilt CSS classes that it has provided. Okay, then when it comes to layout, right, I told you about this grid system. Now this is the grid, right? Now when it comes to this grid system, right, Bootstrap provides a lot of useful classes so that we could organize our website content in a very elegant manner, or adjustable manner, based on the viewport or the device that the web page is being displayed, right? It's a 12 column grid layout, and the site content will adjust based on the device that it is being displayed. Okay, we'll see that practically, right? Just wanted to give you a high level idea of what are the features that Bootstrap provides, or the main features that Bootstrap provides itself as a UI framework. Okay, right. Then we'll move on to the next part. Okay, so I told you about this viewport, right, and device. Okay, so what is viewport? Now, when it comes to a website, right, a viewport is basically the user's visible area of a web page. Okay, that is actually the uh, area of which the web page is displayed for a user, or the user's visible area. Now, the user's visible area width, right, depends on the device that the web page is loaded on. Okay, because nowadays we do not end up uh, watching or accessing a web page only restricted to a desktop computer. Okay, so there are various devices that a web page can be displayed. or loaded, right? Most of us today use mobile phone to view a web page, right? That is the most commonly used device nowadays, right? In addition, we have tablets, okay, um, and of course we have desktop and even large desktop screens, right? Now, the difference is the width of the area that this web page is loaded on. For example, if we take a mobile device, right? Mobile device in its portrait view, that is uh, like the normal default view of a mobile phone, right? It has a width which is less than 576 pixels, right? Then when it comes to the landscape view of a mobile phone, uh, it has a width which is greater than or equal to 576 pixel and less than 768 pixel. Okay. Then when it comes to medium size or tablet PC, uh, it has a width of 768 pixel or higher and less than 992 pixel. If we take a desktop screen, it has a width of 992 pixel or higher and less than 1200 pixel. Then large desktop has obviously a width which is greater than or equal to 1200 pixel. Now, uh, depending on this device, right, we determine the name of it as extra small, small, medium, large, extra large devices. Okay, based on the device width. Okay, right. Okay, then we'll see a practical example. Now, our main purpose today is using media queries with Bootstrap. Okay, so first of all, we have to set up Bootstrap within our web page, right? So if I show you how we could get started, we first need a code editor, right? So I'm using VS Code, which is freely available, and you can use any web designing uh, software as you like, right? So VS Code is a very flexible, freely available software that I'm using, and it is very much lightweight. Now, how are we going to get started? So first we need a HTML page, right? I have given the name of index.html, and in addition we need to get the CSS file of Bootstrap. Now I am using the CDN version of Bootstrap CSS. Let me show you how we can get started with Bootstrap. Okay, now let's go here. Okay, getting started. This is the link that we have to use. And here, when you scroll down, right, it provides a starter template for us. And from here, you can copy the Bootstrap CSS uh, link into your web page. This is mandatory. Okay, we have to get this. Now, this Bootstrap CSS file, right, this is a minified version of CSS file, will contain all the required classes which you can use, which are inbuilt from Bootstrap and readily available, so that you can quickly utilize them to build up your responsive website. So you have to take this link and refer in your web page. In addition, now you can have your own custom CSS file as well. So I have added it as the second file, styles.css. Now let me show you the grid layout that I was talking about. Now this is a very simple example or demonstration of the grid layout. So before we go to the media queries, let me show you the default grid layout that Bootstrap has on offer. Okay. Now under the body tag, we have this container div, right? Normally, we have to organize all our site content when it comes to using Bootstrap within a container. So the container is used for center aligning our content with proper alignment and padding. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, Bootstrap grid system is based on row and column. Okay. Now we have one row and four columns. See, we have applied the class column, column, column. So four columns. Now, as I said, depending on the viewport, I have to organize my content accordingly. Now, let's say I am viewing my web page in a mobile device in portrait or landscape mode. In that case, uh, this content, right, this text content is expected to utilize the entire width, right? This content or the div, right, is expected to utilize the entire width of its parent div, right? Now if I explain you again, the div that this hello bootstrap text is in will utilize the entire width of its parent div. What is the parent div? The div which we have applied the column class. Okay. When it comes to a medium device or a tablet PC, right? Okay. In that case, uh, this text hello bootstrap div will utilize half of the width of the viewport. Okay, half of the width of the viewport, right? Likewise, for large screens, the way the content is displayed will differ, and for extra large, it will differ accordingly. So for each device, I have mentioned the way the content should be displayed. Okay. In addition, let's say we want to apply our own custom styles uh, based on the device. For that, we can use the concept of media queries. Now, as you can see, I have a class called mybox1. mybox1. So I have applied this mybox1. So where can we find this mybox1 class? It is in the style.css. Okay. Now I have this mybox1 class. Now where can we get these media queries? Okay, let me show that to you first. The media query classes are available at layout, and then when you scroll down, you have to get this content copied. This is where you can find the media query classes. You can copy it to the clipboard. Okay, you have to use this layout link. Okay, now it has given the description like this, right? uh, for extra small, there is no media query. That is the default uh, manner the content will be used or the default style, because Bootstrap is a mobile first UI framework. Okay, right? So let's say, for example, now I have this mybox1 class, custom class, right? Now this class is by default applied to all the devices, including mobile, uh, tablet, large and extra large screens. That is clear. Now let's say I want to make the color different based on the device that the web page is displayed. For example, in the extra small device, I show the content in color red. Okay, I show the content in color red, and I am giving a customization for small devices, saying that in this device also I want to show the content in color red. Okay, so in both landscape and portrait modes of viewport, I want to show the content in red color. Okay, my box one. But for medium devices, I want to use the content with color blue. So for the initial my box class, I am actually overriding the color property as blue for a medium device. Okay. Then when it comes to large device, I am overriding the color property with yellow for the same my box class, right? All other properties will be applied as it is, as defined at the top, right? This is for the extra small uh, or the portrait mobile device. That is the starting point of Bootstrap, mobile first. Okay, so all these properties will apply from mobile to extra large device. That is fine. Only thing is we are going to override this color property as we move along into other devices, from mobile device to extra large device. That is the concept here. That is the advantage of using media queries. Now see, color property by default is red, but when it comes to medium device, I am using blue. When it comes to large device, I am using yellow, right? When it comes to extra large device, I am using orange. So likewise, you can use any of your custom CSS classes, and if in case you want to show them in a different manner depending on the viewport that the page is being loaded and displayed, you can use this concept of media queries with the Bootstrap framework. This is just an example of how you can utilize the concept of media queries. If in case you have a requirement of overriding a certain CSS class property depending on the device that the page is being displayed. Okay, that is the requirement here. Right, now I hope it is clear for you, and this is the way it is applied. Okay, let me show you the other properties so that it will be clear for you. Apart from the color property, I have applied font size of 32 pixel, font weight, background color, a min height, right? Min height for the divs that this class is being applied, and a border color, right? Now this mybox1 class is applied at every text content div, right? At every text content div. Okay, now let me run this and show you. Okay, so this is my index.html file. Okay, now I am using Chrome browser and click on F12. Okay, I clicked on F12. When I clicked on F12, and you have to select this toggle device toolbar. You have to select this toolbar so that you can very easily see how your web page content is organized based on the viewport that it is being displayed, right? And as I said, right, in uh, portrait and landscape mode of mobile device, the text content div will utilize the entire width of the parent div, which means every text content div is expected to stack on top of each other in color red. Okay, but when we move on, right, to the next part, that is the tablet PC or the medium size, the text content div is expected to utilize uh, half of the width of the grid layout, which is 6 columns. It will use 6 columns, half of the width of the grid, 6 columns, right? And then the other div will also stack next to the previous uh, text content div, stack next to each other. It won't stack on top of each other, but it will stack next to each other because of the utilization of half of the width of the grid. We are utilizing 6 columns. Okay, and look at the color. This color is applied with the bootstrap. Okay, it is blue now. Then let's move on. Let's drag this. You can drag it. Okay, you can drag it like this and move on to the next uh, viewport, which is the large screen. See, now it is in color yellow, and now the text content div is utilizing uh, 4 columns, which means three text content divs can accommodate in a particular row which accommodates 12 columns. Okay, it's a 12 column grid layout, so that three text content divs can accommodate into this 12 column grid layout, with each having 4 columns width, right? And finally, this is the extra large viewport. It has 3 columns, and therefore it can accommodate all the 12 columns respectively. So four of these divs can accommodate into the 12 column grid layout, with each having 3 column width. Okay, and see, the text color differs from uh, yellow to green. Green, then I'm going backwards. Okay, green, yellow, see, blue, and finally mobile red. Okay, so I hope this is clear for you and it was useful for you. And if you found this tutorial useful, please like, uh, subscribe, and comment and provide your support. And please send your feedback to learnwithrushan@gmail.com. Thank you. Happy coding.